He almost didn't open the door. Not because he was afraid, or busy, or hiding something illegal in his sink like half the station did on inspection days. He almost didn't open it because the knock itself was wrong. Too soft. Too careful. The kind of knock that asked permission instead of demanding it, which on a frontier station usually meant trouble that expected you to feel bad about saying no. He opened it anyway, because that was his flaw. Curiosity dressed up as decency. She was standing there with nothing. And by nothing, he didn't mean the dramatic kind that storytellers loved. No luggage, no weapons, no visible tech, no badge flashing diplomatic immunity. Just a feline woman with fur the color of smoke after rain, ears folded low, tail wrapped around herself like it was doing half the work of clothing and all the work of dignity. No clothes. No shoes. No implants. No pretense. Her eyes met his and held unblinking, too steady for panic, too calm for shame. She wasn't posing. She wasn't offering. She was waiting. This isn't, he said, then stopped because his brain hadn't agreed on what this was yet. She tilted her head. You are the first witness. That did not help. Behind him, his apartment was aggressively normal. One chair with a loose leg. A table that had seen better decades. A kettle that whined louder than it boiled. The kind of place that made it very clear no one had prepared for company, especially the kind of company currently standing naked in the corridor looking like a walking ethics violation. You can't be here like this, he said, already aware that, like this, was pulling a lot of weight in the sentence. I can't, she replied. I have nothing. That part, at least, checked out. He glanced down the corridor. No one else was around, which was a small mercy. Station rumor cycles moved faster than light when nudity and mystery were involved. Okay, he said. We're going to slow this down. Her ears twitched. Slow is considerate? Slow is safe, he said. For both of us. She seemed to process that, tail loosening slightly. You are unusual. He'd heard that before, usually right before paperwork got complicated. Why me? He asked. You opened the door, she said. That establishes proximity. That establishes bad timing, he said. Not ownership. Her brow furrowed. You decline claim? I decline everything, he said quickly. I don't even claim my parking spot. This clearly broke some internal expectation. She glanced down at herself, then back up. I present as I am. I am unguarded. I am without covering or hope. There it was again. Hope. She said it like a measurable resource, like water or credit. You don't look hopeless, he said. I am, she replied calmly. I have reached the end of assigned pathways. No shelter. No role. No bond. Bond, he repeated, already regretting the vocabulary lesson he was about to receive. She stepped forward half a pace, then stopped, as if remembering something important. I must not cross threshold without consent. Thank every known human institution. Correct, he said. And consent is mutual. And ongoing. And very specific. Her ears perked. Specificity is intimate. He pinched the bridge of his nose. In my culture, specificity is how we avoid lawsuits. She considered that with the seriousness of someone being handed a new religion. Then I request shelter. Temporary. With boundaries. The way she said boundaries made them sound like something you leaned on, not crossed. He took off his jacket without stepping closer and held it out at arm's length, eyes firmly on the opposite wall. Please put this on. Or around you. Or near you. However you want to engage with the concept. She took it, fingers brushing fabric like it was a rare artifact. She wrapped it around herself, sleeves dangling, tail slipping out the back. The effect was somehow more vulnerable than before, which annoyed him because he'd been trying to reduce that. You are uncomfortable, she observed. Yes, he said. But not because of you. Because of the situation. Clarify. You are an adult, he said carefully. Right? Yes. And you're not here because someone sent you, sold you, or expects me to do anything in exchange for not closing this door. I am here because tradition requires first witness to choose, she said. He stared at her. Choose what? She met his gaze again, unwavering. Whether I remain nothing. That hit harder than it had any right to. He stepped aside, leaving the doorway open without gesturing her in. You can come in, he said. But only as a guest. Not as a bond. Not as an obligation. And definitely not as, whatever the station thinks this looks like. She crossed the threshold slowly, like each step rewrote a law. When she was inside, she stood very still, as if waiting for something to activate. Okay, he said. Ground rules. Her ears angled forward. I am listening. You get privacy, he said. You get clothes that belong to you, not to a tradition. You get to leave whenever you want. I don't touch you unless you ask, and even then I get to say no. Her tail flicked. You would refuse an invitation? Yes, he said. And you get to refuse mine. That's how this works. She studied him like a puzzle that insisted on having too many correct answers. In my culture, first witness takes responsibility immediately. In mine, he said, responsibility starts with not taking advantage. A long pause stretched between them. Not awkward. Heavy. Charged with things neither of them were doing. You are very restrained, she said softly. People keep telling me that like it's a problem, he replied. Her mouth curved, just slightly. It is not. It is rare. From the corridor, footsteps echoed faintly. The station moving on, oblivious. She adjusted the jacket around herself, more secure now. Then I will stay, she said. Not because I must. Because I choose. He nodded. Good. She looked around his small apartment. May I ask something? Within reason. If I am no longer nothing, she said, what am I to you? He didn't answer right away. He put the kettle on, because humans were very good at doing practical things when emotions threatened to get loud. You're a person, he said finally. With options. Her ears lifted fully this time. Hope, she said, tasting the word differently. By the time the kettle clicked off, the station had already decided they were together. He hadn't told anyone. She hadn't spoken to anyone. None of that mattered. Stations like this survived on recycled air and freshly distorted facts, and all it took was one maintenance drone lingering too long outside his door to start the story fermenting. It began politely. A message pinged his terminal while he poured water into two mismatched cups. Station welfare notice. Unregistered dependent detected in your habitation unit. He stared at it, then at her. She was sitting on the edge of the chair like it might accuse her of something if she leaned back too far, jacket wrapped tight, tail tucked neatly to the side as if trying to take up less space in a universe that clearly wasn't cooperating. Dependent, he muttered. That was fast. Her ears rotated toward the terminal. They acknowledge pairing. There is no pairing. There is observation followed by assumption, she said. Assumption matures into policy. He sighed. I hate when bureaucracy reproduces. Another ping followed immediately. Proximity status. Extended close-range cohabitation pending review. Close range? He said. We're on opposite sides of the room. In galactic terms, she said carefully, you are breathing the same air. He opened his mouth, closed it, then went with honesty. That feels unfair. It is, she agreed. But it is also tradition. He handed her one of the cups. Tea. It's hot. It does not mean anything. She took it with both hands, eyes wide. You clarify constantly. Yes, he said. It's how I stay alive. She sipped, whiskers twitching. You share heat and resources without claiming return. That's called being decent. In my species, she said, that is called foreplay. He choked on his own drink, coughed, then held up a finger. Okay. We need to establish a glossary. Her mouth curved again, more confident this time. I like your confusion. That sentence is doing things it shouldn't. A knock sounded at the door. Louder than hers had been. Official. The kind of knock that assumed compliance. He stood, palms open. Stay here. She nodded. I will not present. He froze mid-step. Please don't use that word while I'm talking to authorities. He opened the door to a station liaison flanked by a hovering translation orb that pulsed an unsettling shade of pink. Citizen, the liaison said brightly. Congratulations on your acquisition. I didn't acquire anything, he said. I offered tea. The orb chimed. Hospitality ritual acknowledged. That does not help. The liaison peered past him. Is the dependent secured? She's a guest. The orb pulsed again. Guest status implies temporary intimacy. I swear, he said. If one more word means something different out here. Relax, the liaison said. We're just here to assess suitability. Standard questions. About what? Shared space, the liaison said. Shared rest cycles. Shared future. He laughed once, sharp and humorless. You skipped about 12 steps. Behind him, he felt her presence approach, slow and deliberate. I may answer, she said softly. No, he said, then stopped himself. I mean, only if you want to. I want clarity, she said. It is becoming attractive. He shot her a look. She tilted her head innocently. The liaison brightened. See? Mutual interest. There is mutual conversation, he said. Do not confuse that with anything else. The orb hummed. Confusion is statistically inevitable. She stepped closer, still a careful distance away, jacket secure. He has offered shelter without ownership, she said. He has set boundaries that restrict himself. The liaison frowned. Why would he do that? She considered. Because he is human. That word landed heavier than expected. The liaison made a note. Human restraint. We've heard rumors. What kind of rumors? He asked cautiously. That humans delay satisfaction, the liaison said. Sometimes indefinitely. It unsettles other species. He nodded. It unsettles us too. The orb chimed again. Question: have you engaged in bonding behaviors? No, he said immediately. She paused. Define bonding. He shot her another look. Don't. She continued anyway. He ensured warmth without contact. He provided resources without demand. He asked permission to speak. These are intimate acts. The liaison's eyes widened. Oh my. They are not, he said. They are baseline respect. The liaison leaned closer, lowering their voice. Between you and me, citizen, refusing advantage when offered is considered a power move. I'm not making a move. That's what makes it impressive. The liaison cleared their throat. Very well. Provisional status, cohabitation under observation. No, he said. Absolutely not. The orb pulsed an apologetic pink. Status reflects perception, not intent. The door closed eventually. He leaned against it, exhaled slowly, then slid down until he was sitting on the floor like a man who had just survived a conversation he would be unpacking for years. She knelt across from him, careful not to touch. You defended my autonomy, she said. Even when it complicated your standing. People keep acting like that's weird, he said. It is, she replied. But it is also reassuring. Silence settled, comfortable and charged at the same time. Everyone thinks we're together, he said. Yes. We're not. No. Does that bother you? She thought about it. It confuses me. In my culture, witnessing weakness initiates permanence. And in mine, he said, witnessing weakness means you protect the right to choose what comes next. Her tail moved slowly now, thoughtful rather than defensive. If I choose nothing, she said, do you withdraw shelter? No. If I choose someone else? No. If I choose you? He met her eyes steady. Then we talk. Slowly. With a lot of clarification. Her ears lifted fully. That sounds exhausting. It is, he said. But it's honest. She smiled, unguarded now. Hope feels different here. He stood, offering a hand but not insisting. Good. She took it, briefly, lightly. Not a claim. Not a promise. Just contact. Living together turned out to be less dramatic than the station had hoped and more complicated than either of them expected. He learned quickly that silence meant different things to her. On the first morning, he didn't speak until the kettle boiled, because that was how he started most days. She watched him the entire time, ears angled forward, posture rigid. When he finally said good morning, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. I thought I had displeased you, she said. You were asleep, he replied. Yes, she said carefully. Alone. Without conversation. That usually follows disappointment. He rubbed his face. Okay. New rule. If I'm quiet, it's not emotional. It's caffeine related. She accepted that with a nod, then added, Your species hides feelings behind rituals. Coffee is not a ritual. You prepare it every morning, she said. With care. You grow agitated if interrupted. You relax after consumption. That is a ritual. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Fine. But it's not intimate. Her tail swayed slowly. Intimacy is contextual. That became the theme of the week. She insisted on helping with small tasks, even when he told her she didn't have to. When he asked why, she said contribution reduced imbalance. When he said imbalance wasn't a problem, she looked unconvinced, like someone being told gravity was optional. He noticed she avoided sitting too close, even though her culture apparently favored proximity. When he asked about it, she said, I do not wish to pressure you. The irony nearly broke him. They negotiated space like diplomats defusing a bomb. The couch was neutral territory. The table was shared. The sleeping arrangements were discussed with the seriousness of a peace treaty. You may take the bed, he said. She stared at him. That would imply elevation. It implies better back support. In my culture, she said slowly, offering your resting place is an invitation. He held up both hands. Then I withdraw the offer. Her ears flattened briefly. You retract invitation? I retract misunderstanding. She considered that. Then we require equal ground. They ended up on opposite sides of the bed, fully clothed, backs turned, a gulf of deliberate distance between them that somehow made every shared breath louder. Sleep came slowly. The station made sure not to let them forget they were being watched. Messages arrived daily, each more creatively phrased than the last. Cohabitation update. Extended shared rest cycle confirmed. We were asleep, he muttered. The translation orb chimed from the corner. Rest is a bonding activity. She glanced at him. Is it? No, he said firmly. It's unconsciousness. She seemed disappointed by that. As days passed, she grew more expressive. Not bolder, exactly, but less guarded. She laughed more often, a soft sound that caught him off guard every time. She asked questions that circled topics without landing on them directly. What does taking things slow feel like? She asked once, while they sat at the table pretending not to notice how close their knees were. Like constant self-interruption, he said. She smiled. I believe I am experiencing that. He noticed the station's assumptions had begun to affect her. She flinched slightly when strangers stared too long. Her posture stiffened when officials passed. She once asked, very quietly, If I leave, will they say you failed? Yes, he said honestly. Does that trouble you? No, he said. What troubles me is the idea that you'd stay because of that. She looked at him for a long moment. You truly believe choice must be free? Yes. Even if the outcome displeases you? Yes. She nodded slowly. That is frightening. He smiled faintly. Welcome to being human. There were moments when the tension spiked unexpectedly. Like the time she brushed past him in the narrow kitchen and froze, eyes wide. I crossed boundary, she said quickly. You bumped into me, he replied. It's fine. Her tail flicked. Your heart rate increased. That happens when startled. And when aroused, she added. He choked on air. We are not diagnosing that. She watched him with open curiosity, not teasing, not innocent. Just observant. Your species experiences many signals simultaneously. You choose which to honor. Yes, he said. Usually the least embarrassing one. She laughed, genuinely this time. Restraint requires effort. Constant effort. Does it ever fail? He met her gaze. Yes. But failing isn't acting. It's noticing and stopping. She absorbed that like it mattered. That night, she sat closer than usual on the couch. Not touching. Just closer. He noticed and did nothing. She noticed that he noticed and relaxed. This is difficult, she said softly. What is? Being seen, she replied. Without being claimed. He nodded. Yeah. She shifted, tail brushing his leg by accident. She stiffened immediately. I apologize. He didn't move. You don't have to. She looked at him, searching. You are certain? Yes. The tail remained where it was. Either of them spoke. Later, she asked. If my people knew you refused first claim, they would call you weak. He smiled. They already do. And that does not diminish you. No, he said. It filters the audience. She considered that, then said, I believe your weakness is misclassified. Most of our strengths are. The station sent one final notice that evening. Bonding resolution pending. Dependent autonomy at risk if delay continues. She read it over his shoulder, fur bristling. They will force decision. They'll try, he said. She turned to face him fully. If I choose you now, it would satisfy them. He didn't answer immediately. He reached out slowly, deliberately, stopping well short of touching her. If you choose me because of them, it doesn't count. Her eyes softened. You would deny yourself certainty. I'd rather live with uncertainty than steal choice. She leaned forward, just enough that the air between them felt charged. And if I choose you because I want to? He swallowed. Then we talk more. And we keep choosing. She smiled, warm and real. Hope, she said again, and this time it wasn't a status. They sat there, close but careful, two species defying a universe that preferred its stories simpler. Nothing happened. And somehow, that meant everything. The council arrived without ceremony, which somehow made it worse. No banners, no announcements, no dramatic pause. Just 3 representatives standing in his doorway like a conclusion that had finally caught up. The translation orb hovered between them, already pulsing an ominous shade that suggested inevitability. She stood beside him, jacket replaced now by clothes that were unmistakably hers. Practical. Comfortable. Chosen. That alone felt like a quiet rebellion. Proceed, he said before anyone could frame the moment for him. The central representative inclined their head. The observation period has exceeded cultural tolerance. A resolution is required. By who? He asked. And for what? For the dependent, the representative replied, eyes flicking to her. And for you. Uncertainty creates instability. She straightened. Uncertainty creates possibility. The orb hesitated before translating that, like it wasn't sure it should. In your species, the representative said, first witness assumes bond unless formally declined. Delay implies indulgence. He laughed once, sharp. You really don't understand humans. We understand outcomes, the representative said. Your proximity. Your shared resources. Your delayed consummation. He closed his eyes briefly. Stop using that word. She glanced at him, then addressed the council. He has declined nothing. He has withheld nothing. He has only refused to decide for me. That is functionally the same as refusal, the representative said. No, she replied. It is functionally respect. The orb glitched, color stuttering. The representative turned to him. Human. Do you intend to bond? He didn't answer immediately. Not because he didn't know, but because he knew the weight of an answer spoken into a system that didn't care about nuance. He looked at her instead. Whatever I say, it only matters if it matches what you want. She met his gaze, steady and warm. I want to choose without pressure. The representative's expression tightened. Choice has consequences. So does taking it away, he said. The station seemed to hold its breath. The rumors, the notices, the assumptions, all of it had been building toward this moment where something clean and decisive was expected. A declaration. A claim. A neat ending. She stepped forward, just enough to be seen as the one moving. I will speak. The representative nodded. Proceed. I was found without hope, she said. In your terms, that meant I was eligible for permanence through weakness. Through exposure. Through being seen at my least. The orb translated faithfully, but the room shifted anyway. He saw me, she continued, and did not take me. Murmurs rippled among the council. In my culture, she said, that would be considered rejection. In his, it was an invitation to decide. She turned to him then, fully. You did not claim me when it would have been easiest. You waited when waiting cost you status. You corrected language that favored you. You made space and called it safety. He swallowed, throat tight. That, she said, is not weakness. The representative studied her. Do you choose the bond? She paused. Long enough that the silence stopped feeling procedural and started feeling personal. I choose him, she said. Not because he saw me first. Because he saw me and stopped. The orb pulsed, then settled into a calm, neutral tone. The representative exhaled slowly. This is irregular. Humans are, he said. The representative nodded once. Then the bond is recognized as voluntary. He felt the tension drain from his shoulders in a way he hadn't realized it was still holding him upright. When the council left, the station didn't cheer or boo. It simply resumed, like a machine accepting a new parameter. Messages stopped coming. Notices went quiet. The air felt lighter, as if surveillance itself had grown bored. They stood there together, not touching, not rushing. That was brave, he said finally. She shook her head. It was honest. That too. She smiled, a real one, unguarded. Now what? No, he said. We continued doing exactly what we were doing. Talking. Choosing. Adjusting. Her ears flicked playfully. Still slow. Still slow. She stepped closer, closing a distance that had been deliberately maintained for days. Not pressing. Not claiming. Just present. This, she said, gesturing vaguely between them, would normally proceed much faster. I know. Does that frustrate you? He considered it. Sometimes. And you endure it? Yes. Why? He met her eyes. Because the wanting matters more than the taking. She breathed out softly, like a sound she'd been carrying for a long time. My people fear humans because you do not rush. Good, he said. Keeps expectations manageable. She laughed, leaning slightly toward him without touching. May I ask for something? You don't have to ask, he said, then corrected himself. But you can. She raised a brow. I would like to learn how you decide when restraint ends. He smiled faintly. That takes time. I have time. So do I. They stood there, close enough that warmth registered, far enough that nothing was assumed. The station lights dimmed for evening cycle, painting the room in softer tones. Hope, she said quietly, is no longer a garment. No, he agreed. It's a practice. She shifted, tail brushing his wrist again, deliberately this time. She didn't apologize. She waited. He let it be. No rush. No claim. No destiny fulfilled in a single dramatic moment. Just two beings choosing each other in a universe that expected shortcuts, proving that sometimes the most dangerous thing a human could do was wait, and mean it.